So in terms of adding length to a research paper, so it's funny because I actually almost always find it the opposite. But I know when you're first starting out, most of you want to add length to a research paper. But once you've been doing this for a long time, you're going to want to take away from the research paper. It becomes like, the challenge is what do you keep rather than actually what do you put into a research paper, and you just kind of get used to that as you go and just realize it takes a long time to get to that point. So don't be disappointed in any sort of way. I was there the same way that you guys are thinking if you're watching this, totally doing the exact same thing as you. So how do you add length to a research paper? First thing is add stuff about the context, whatever you're looking at, right? So write about, different things. So use the 5 W's, right? Who, what, when, where, why, about why that particular thing is happening that you're looking at, right? So as some sort of news event that's happening, then you can give all sorts of stuff about that. And you could probably write 2 to 3 sentences about each one of those questions, right? So who, what, when, where, why, and you've already got a page just by doing that. That's crazy when you think about it and you get into just different details and add details about who, what, when, where, why. About the context. The other thing that you can do is, write, and this is the second thing, is write stuff about why the context is important to study and what are the implications of actually studying the research topic. By the way, I'm going to stop here. It's coronavirus time right now, 2012 or 2020, and doing all of the staying at home, so noise in the background. Just bear with me. All right. So in terms of, just you want to write things about why it's important, implications, really getting into why actually looking at this thing is truly important. Then so a third thing is what you can do is write a really detailed description of 1 to 2 pages about how things are actually working in this context, right? So get into the nitty gritty about what things are going on. Really kind of explain what's going on with the particular context that you're looking at. And you'd be surprised once you start getting some newspapers or newspaper articles or journal articles, and you start looking at what is going on with people or the actual thing that you're looking at, and start just detailing it out, you all of a sudden have this really rich understanding, and it looks really cool. I've done that a bunch of times, and you get an understanding about what's going on, right? So you want to think about what managers are doing, for example, or what individuals or people are doing, or what groups are doing, or what is really going on behind the scenes. So then you want to go. So the fourth thing is talk about the theory, right? So you want to do the exact same thing, right? So you want to write who, what, when, where, why about the theory that you're actually using, why it's actually important, and aim for writing 2 to 3 sentences for each one of these particular things. Really get into that. I know it seems a little challenging, but once you start doing the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and you start talking about that in terms of the theory and detailing that particular stuff, it gets really easy to fill up a couple of pages by doing that. Now, you also need to talk about, so the fifth thing is to talk about why the theory is important, right? So you need to actually talk about why you're studying that theory, and maybe sometimes why you're not studying different theories, right? So other theories in the context might have been used a lot. So why aren't you using that theory, and why are you using this particular theory? And if you talk about that, then it becomes easy to fill up some more pages, right? And make your research paper a little longer. A sixth thing that you could do is look for multiple levels of analysis. What do I mean by levels of analysis? Everything in this world can be seen in different levels of analysis, right? So I can look at my hand and I can see it as a hand, but I can think about it in terms of the molecular structure that's behind it. I can think of it in terms of cells that are behind it. I can think of it in terms of the different wrinkles and wrinkle patterns that are on it. I got lots. Fingerprint patterns, all sorts of different levels of analysis that you could look at, and unit of analysis that you could look at. Think about it in those different ways and start talking about it and writing about it in those different ways, and you all of a sudden have a really rich understanding about what is going on with your hand, right? I know it seems really funny to say that, but it's true. You can really get into some details by doing that. Writing 1 to 2 paragraphs about each one of those different levels of analysis really adds a lot of richness to a paper. So a seventh thing that you could do is describe different mechanisms, what is going on behind the scenes, right? So really think about, and this can be related to the level of analysis, but there's many different reasons why things happen. It's not usually just one thing, but there's many different reasons why if you change this thing over here and this thing changes, there's many reasons why that could occur. And you might explain what those particular reasons are and those mechanisms for why that thing is occurring, right? So if you get and explain all of that stuff, you really have this wonderful explanation, these multiple mechanisms about why this can occur that you couldn't have had before. Now, an eighth thing that you could do that a lot of people forget about, and this is really important, and people that are more experienced tend to do this a little more, is you just put a lot of definitions in the paper, right? So every time you say something or write something that's new, you define it, you write it down. It's a paragraph, or often it is a sentence, but more likely it's a paragraph to define something, to define that thing that you're looking at. And you just add a lot of detail there. So you can even use, you can go to a dictionary, but you can use your own language and define that particular thing yourself. If it's something that's new and different, nobody else has done that thing. Another thing that you could do, so a ninth thing that you could do is talk about the method. Get into details about why the method that you're using, the thing that you're actually analyzing, your analysis, right? So maybe it's a narrative, right? So you're talking about history, for example. Well, why are you using this particular analysis? Why aren't you using a different one? Why is it important to use this sort of narrative approach or analytical approach in this way? What is going on with what you're doing? Why are you using a microscope? Why are you collecting data at this kind of scale versus something else? If you do that and you start developing the key assumptions for that method, all of a sudden you just have so much detail. I'm serious. You can have tremendous amounts of detail by doing this, pages and pages and pages that you would never expect that you would have had before, as soon as you start detailing the method of that you chose to analyze the particular thing that you're looking at. Now, the last thing, the 10th thing, is add your own ideas, right? So look for ways that you can add things that are uniquely your own insights, right? So not everything has to be cited in a research paper. So the general rule with a research paper is you want about 80%, it's somewhere between 60 and 80% old material that other people have done before, and you have citations and stuff. But that leaves room for 20 to 40% of new things that nobody else has talked about, and that can be genuinely your own ideas that are clever and unique and different. So you can go in tangents sometimes about different things and talk about those different things that you find interesting that add to the particular context. So if you do that, you're going to have a much more original paper, and it's going to seem a little more clever if you do that because nobody else has talked about it, right? So those are the 10 ways to add length through a research paper. There's many others. You can leave comments below in terms of what you do to add length to a research paper. Please try to limit those to really legit things. Things that actually really help out other people. And that would be really helpful for everybody, right? So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.